Hi, everybody. Welcome to the v43 deep dive. Uh, Welcome to the v43 deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about version 43 and the new features and what you guys can expect. I hope everybody's having a great day today, and we'll go ahead and get started here. Let me just get the PowerPoint pulled up. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So today we're going to talk about version 43, the new features that are coming with that, as well as some of the improvements and some bug fixes that were done. There were over 100 bug fixes on this release, and we're really excited about it. Simon has linked the download link for the presentation if you guys would like to go, and I'll also have the link for the v43 release notes there as well if you guys would like to see that. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. So first things first, what are we going to be going over today? So first of all, we're going to talk about some improved functionality for users, for the users table and that view. We're going to have some call recording improvements as well as remote storage, music on hold improvements. We're also releasing a progressive web app for Snap Mobile Web. So for those of you who would like a desktop version for Snap Mobile Web, custom agent statuses, pickup and promoting calls within call queues, toggling timeframes for remote users, unified QoS, Snap HT calendar plugins, and then again, more minor improvements and bug fixes. And just to clarify, guys, we are actually upgrading to v43.1.1. So this is not v43.0, but 1.1. And the reason we did that was to make sure that everything was as built out and functional and ready to go for you guys as possible. So you will notice on the release notes there are references to improvements for some of the newer features, and that's why that is. So getting started with improved functionality for the users table. First of all, you guys will actually be able to control what columns are visible in the users table. You'll be able to pick and choose what's there, and those view settings will be stored and cached on the user screen for up to 7 days. So you'll be able to see what departments, if users have call recording turned on, everything from a glance. You don't have to go into that user settings or do an export to check their emergency caller ID. We've all been there when we've had to make sure that everybody's got the right address or the right number set, right? You also have bulk user edit, which is so exciting. So bulk user edit, you can update a number of settings for multiple extensions at a time, including things like caller ID name, voicemail to email, call recording, area code. So the things that you previously were only able to do by re-importing those users, now you can do that just by clicking on the bulk edit within the manager portal. So you don't have to risk re-importing and potentially messing with answering rules or other settings that were already there. So much simpler, much easier to use, and hopefully will make things a lot faster for everybody. Next up, we have call recording improvements and remote storage. So we are enabling domain-wide call recording. This is going to be a feature that's available to you guys, which has been something that's been requested frequently. So domain-wide call recording will allow you to turn call recording on for all of the users, call queues, and devices within your domain. You no longer have to go extension by extension, turning it on and off. One note, it is enforced, so you can't turn it off if you have domain-wide recording. You can't disable it for certain extensions, but we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. You'll also have remote storage options for call recordings. So for those of you who need call recordings stored in for longer periods of time, or if you want to use an external storage solution, you will have those options. So we are supporting AWS S3, both standard and Glacier, Wasabi, as well as FTP, FTPS, and SFTP. So you will be able to set up those calls to record and export to those external storage locations. The call recordings will still be available in the manager portal for you to listen to as well. But if you need longer retention, more granular control, whatever it is, you will have that availability as well. And you will get email notifications for any failed uploads to those remote storage options. So if for any reason that call recording did not get uploaded properly, it will send an email notification to the contact that you choose. You will also have the ability to control whether or not users can have call recordings visible in the manager portal. In call history. So if you have a extension, let's say an executive or that does not want office managers to be able to hear their call recordings, you can hide that user's call recordings in the manager portal call history, so it's only visible to themselves or to resellers. Just to show some screenshots here, so here in the domain, when you create it for the first time, you will see this record option listed here. And then here, this is what it looks like when you're adding that remote storage. You will be able to create the storage type, choose it, and this can be done per domain. So if you have multiple, S3 buckets or only specific clients need this, you will be able to configure those options for each client. Jumping into music on hold improvements here. So with the music on hold improvements, we've added support for comfort messages, which is something that people have asked for a lot. Being able to have a message play mid music on hold saying you are X person in the queue, or this is what your estimated wait time is, or even custom comfort messages that clients may want to upload on their own mid call. You can now add that. You can also configure domain-wide music on hold settings. So if you want to randomize music on hold or add a domain-wide intro greeting, you can do that now, and it will apply to all of the users. You can also disable music on hold domain-wide, and it will apply to all users. We've also updated the layout of the music on hold screen to make it a little bit easier, make things a little bit more user-friendly when you're looking at them. So some of those items, when you go into the music on hold tab, you'll see here you have for the domain, and then for any users that have custom music on hold or call queues, you'll be able to see that from here. So no longer having to go into the call queue section and filter or search for particular extensions. This will tell you who and what has music on hold already configured. You'll be able to add your comfort message. So again, you'll be able to add wait status updates in terms of estimated wait time or queue position for call queues. You can do text-to-speech, upload or record as normal. And then here in the domain settings, this is where you'll be able to configure the randomized music on hold as well. Some of the updated layouts look a little bit like this. So up here is the domain default layout. So you'll see music on hold for the domain itself. And on the right, you'll be able to add your introductory greeting, any comfort messages, and those will be visible where previously you had to go into the settings to see if it was even turned on. So this will add a little bit more visibility, make things a little bit clearer. And this is an example of what it would look like for a queue, a site, or a user. Same thing, you'll have that music, but you won't have the enable music on hold button up at the top because that will be for the domain itself. Next up, we have the progressive web app. So yeah, I see David saying he's been getting multiple requests for desktop apps. So this is going to be a desktop / native experience. It is going to be OS agnostic. It makes it very, very simple as far as installation and updating. That's going to be done automatically once it's been installed. So you no longer have to worry about, doing any kind of natify or anything like that. That's already going to be part of the process to make life as easy for your clients as possible. We do also support Web HID right now. It's Jabra only. If you're not familiar what Web HID is, it's basically a tighter integration for your headsets. So being able to control, hold, mute, answer, hang up with the push of the buttons on your headset. Being able to control the, being able to see those ringers and have that just integrate in a much better way where previously that wasn't available for the web app. So as part of the progressive web app, you will also have that option. Go into some screenshots. So this is what it looks like with the Web HID. When you open Snap Mobile Web, you will get a notification, hey, a compatible headset has been detected. Do you want to pair it? You can choose to pair it or not, and then you choose the headset that you want to connect to. Again, as of right now, it's Jabra only. We are working to get that going with Yealink and other brands, but it is a process because it has to be done per brand. As far as installing the Snap Mobile Web Progressive Web App, all you're going to do is you'll see this little plus sign here. You'll click on it, be prompted to install, and that's it. There is no admin, elevated admin login required. It does automatically add itself to your desktop, and you can choose whether to pin that to your taskbar, have it auto start on device login, and it does automatically always run. It does include push notifications. So even if they have it minimized or even if they have it closed, they will still get those notifications that calls are coming in if they don't want to have it like open 24/7. Next up, we have custom agent statuses, which is something that has been heavily requested as well. Call center supervisors will have the ability to add custom agent statuses for their agents. So they will be able to add their own custom offline messages from the settings. The agents will be able to choose those settings from the manager portal or from Snap Mobile Web, and those statuses will appear in call center agent reports. So you will be able to get better reporting off of those items as well. I see Michael had a question about Yealink headsets or other headsets working without Web HID. They will continue to work just as they did previously, but you're correct, they will not allow you for the button pushing. So if you have a client that's interested in that or that wants to use those, being able to push the button to answer the phone, they don't want to have to click onto the computer. That's what's not available, but they can still, use the headset as normal to talk and listen to the client. All right, so let's talk about picking up and promoting calls. This is another very heavily requested feature. So the first thing you have is a call pickup feature. So call pickup would be to actually be able to answer the call from your device or send that call to another agent. So agents can go into the call queue, look at the active agents list and pick, or active callers list, and pick a call from the lineup to answer. Supervisors can also transfer the call to a specific agent. So let's say, you have a client who's called in a couple of times and they're working with a specific tech or a specific person. That supervisor sees the call come in. Rather than having that person wait, they can just send the call straight to that agent so that they don't have to wait in line and potentially get someone else. There's also the option to promote calls in queue, which is really great for customer service as well. So supervisors can move calls up in priority. So let's say a call is number 10 in line, the supervisor can promote that call up to number 1 so that it is the next call to be taken up. Call pickup can be done by agents, and then promotion can only be done by call center supervisors. Here's a screenshot of how it looks. So up here you can see the prioritize option to move that up, and then also the option to pick up or transfer the call. You can choose to transfer to an agent in the queue or another extension that is, in the domain. So it actually doesn't even have to go to an agent in the call queue. You can definitely be sure to, have that go wherever you guys would like. David, I love that comment. Calls may not be answered in the order they were received. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we just have to, we see that client that we know can get a little nitpicky if they wait too long, and so we want to get them taken care of quickly. It definitely is very, very helpful. Next up, we have toggle timeframe for remote users. My white label and channel partners will probably love this. This does allow for you to be able to control time frame toggle, including night mode for other extensions. So for those of you who use night mode for your call routing and you've had to submit support requests for that custom programming one too many times, that is no longer necessary. You can, from Snap Builder, now create a time frame toggle and select a target user that time frame will be toggled on. So it is very, very helpful. I know this is something that gets requested a lot. I will make a note about this. It's already been added to our known issues. At this time, when you enter a time frame, when you type in the name of the time frame, it does not match to the list, so it will give you an error, no match found. you can still save and it will still work. It's just giving you that error message. It's already been added to our known issues. It will be fixed in v43.2, which is in beta right now. So that is something that you guys should be aware of. That is on our known issues doc, but it does absolutely work. And I know that a lot of you are probably doing a happy dance right now. So, but it is, this is, I think, one of my favorite features, as simple as it is, because it does make your lives, I know, a lot easier. I see Bob asking, is hot desking is available? Hi, Bob. Yes, hot desking is available. That's listed on our star codes and features doc. If you guys are not familiar with our documentation, you can go to voipdocs.io and you can search for anything that you want there, or you can email support@oit.co. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Next thing is unified QoS. So one of the bigger things on this release is that VoIP monitor QoS links. When clicking on the MOS score, those links will be available to channel and white label partners. So previously, when you clicked on the MOS score, you did need a login, and that was only available to white label partners. Now that is no longer the case. When you click on the MOS score in v43, you will be directed to a public link. So channel partners will be able to see the data for that call themselves. They will be able to review that, and that will allow you guys to have more improved and better troubleshooting capabilities. So you won't need to rely on support for looking at those items. White label partners, this also means you don't need logins to all 3 cores. You will now only need logins to your primary core, so you can see those SIP register messages for troubleshooting registration. So we will be, as part of v43, we will be rolling that out, that you will have access to your primary core only, because those MOS links will be publicly available. You're also going to be able to get MOS and QoS data for Snap Mobile Web. Previously, this was not possible because calls through Snap Mobile Web were encrypted. So that was something that, I don't know if any of you noticed, you would not have been able to see those calls. Now that is possible. We are supporting QoS encryption and SIP TLS, which is something we actually had available but did not roll out because of the fact that QoS monitor could not handle it because of the encryption. So now that is supported. So a lot of really great stuff here for both our channel and white label partners in terms of support. Next up, we have Snap HD. So Snap HD, we've actually added calendar plugins, which is great and really exciting. So we have added extensions for Google and Office 365. They're not currently branded. They are published by NetSapiens directly. So they are labeled as Snap HD Meeting for our white label partners. You will be able to schedule meetings and invites through Google or Office 365 Calendar, and you will be able to sync between all of the apps for any meeting changes or things like that. So but you will be able to do everything through your calendar. You don't have to log into Snap HD and create those meeting rooms or webinars by yourself. And just some screenshots to show what that looks like. So here on the left, we have Office 365. So once you get logged in, it'll prompt you for what meeting type, depending on what you have supported, the different options. And when you create your meeting, it'll auto-generate the link in your meeting invite. And here in Google, you can see current meetings as well as starting or joining a new meeting from Outlook or from your Google Calendar as well. Going over some of the minor improvements. One of the bigger improvements is that we have improved load speeds by 50%, which is going to help the manager portal load significantly faster. Clients who have device-heavy domains, so if you've got a lot of devices or users on your domain, it is still going to take longer to load. You have more information, but this will significantly improve the speed of the platform when you're looking at most of your clients. As I mentioned before, the view settings for the number of rows on your pages, not just for your users table, but for all of your pages and things like that, will be cached for up to 7 days. So you don't have to go back every single time and set it to 25 or 100 if that's what you're looking at when you're looking at your rows of things and your tables. We've also allowed for import for the allowing and blocking answering rule settings, so you no longer have to insert allowing and blocking one at a time. So if you've got an existing list, you can import that using a CSV file. We've also added additional validation to the phone imports. So it will validate MAC addresses and give users a warning if a MAC address is invalid. So, you know, a lot of times we don't really notice until we try to provision the device. This will now warn you and give you some additional validation so that you can fix it right away. As I mentioned before, music on hold settings will be set at the domain level. We also allowed for Office Manager and resellers to be able to listen to recordings, voicemail recordings for their domain via API. So if you guys have any kind of CRM or ERP that you need those voicemails to be uploaded to for data tracking or anything like that, as an Office Manager or a reseller, you now can do so via API, whereas previously you could only listen to your own. For any partners who are using SIP trunks, you will also have the ability to listen to and view SIP trunk calls in domain call history. Previously, that was only visible in the root, and so for some of you, that wasn't visible at all. Now your clients will be able to listen to those call recordings and view those calls within the domain call history much more easily. We also added a hold time option to cradle to grave. So when you are looking at cradle to grave, if a client was placed on hold, you will now see that in the cradle to grave entry. It will say that they were placed on hold and for how long, so that it, you know, gives you a little bit more clarity on that cradle to grave option as well. You'll also have improved display of calls waiting in queue. Some of you might know, when a call queue times out, if it goes back to itself, that timer resets for the call that was active. So if a call leaves the queue and comes back for whatever reason, the timer will not reset if it's the same call. So you will see that it keeps its own existing time. So that's going to improve the reporting a lot more, make the calls a lot more accurate. And we also added the ability to attach and send multiple files at once via chat and SMS in the manager portal and using Snap Mobile Web. So you will be able to drag and drop as well as attach multiple files. As far as bug fixes, again, these are just some of the most common ones, but there are over 100 bug fixes and improvements. So you guys will be able to see a lot more of them in the release notes, but these are just the most common ones and the ones that we've seen partners ask for. So first of all, agents there was a bug where agents could not log out mid-call. That has been corrected. So now they can log out mid-call or when a call is ringing. There was a bug with fax count and size. So as you guys know, your faxes, the amount of data that is in your faxes is included in your data limit for users. And previously, you actually couldn't see how much data was being used up in a faxes. That has now been corrected, so you will be able to see the number of faxes and the size that is being taken up in the voicemail tab for users that have faxing set up, and you will be able to clear data including clearing your faxes. I know some users had problems with call forwarding, so basic users did not have the ability to route calls to an auto attendant, which made it really difficult for basic users to set call forwarding up for themselves if they wanted calls to go to that auto attendant. It had to be done by the white label partner or the channel partner. Now that has been resolved. And time zone on SNOME devices was previously not being respected. That was not a value that was available. That has since been added. Again, we improved import error message and ensured that imports only allow valid scopes and values on the user import. So we've improved validation on user import as well as device import in the manager portal. Also resolved some issues with the save button when editing intro greetings on an auto attendant. I know some of you have experienced problems with outbound cross-domain calling when you're calling your clients and they put you on hold or they transfer the call, the caller number changes to be the extension in their domain. That has also been resolved. And then we've also added fixes for numbers receiving multiple images with MMS. If you were getting multiple images or files in an MMS message, it would not work. That has been resolved. And we've added dynamic park buttons for web phones when they're in their compact mode. So a lot of bug fixes. And again, these are just a few of the ones that you guys have asked for the most. The full list of release notes is available at voipdocs.io. If you go to the announcements section under release notes, it's there. The link is also here. Simon will be posting it as well. Now, when is this going to happen? It's scheduled for December 10th, Saturday, overnight. Our production servers will be upgraded to version 43. We will not be expecting any downtime. As usual, the servers will fail over to each other while they're upgrading. So we will be upgrading one server at a time. And hopefully by December 11th, early Christmas gift, you guys will be on version 43. Does anybody have any questions about the platform or anything that they would like me to cover? All righty. Well, I do believe that is everything. If nobody has any questions, we'll go ahead and end it here. As always, you guys can feel free to email support@oit.co. You can give us a call at 844-OITVOIP, or you can message us in Discord for channel and white label partners. That's go.oit.co/discord. You can join and you can message anybody in the support team there. But thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day, guys.